The next topic we're going to discuss has been debated all week on Twitter, boxing Twitter. Like my bro says, you got to go on boxing Twitter with a responsible adult. You have to go in your own comment sections with a responsible adult these days, but I'm gonna leave that alone. So Trill, the question that I'm going to ask you is, who is the current GWOAT of women's boxing? So basically, what's happening is we're having GWOAT talk. But before we do that, we're going to take a look at what Amanda Serrano had to say about the GWOAT talk and the GWOAT discussion. Amanda Serrano wrote, "All are amazing women, all accomplished in our own right. You'll never get the same answer from anyone." So she was referring to this, who says, who is the greatest female boxer of all time? We're not asking about who's the greatest of all time. We're asking about currently, as that is what the debate was mainly centered around online. So I'm going to actually, I'll take this first. So for me,
Yeah.
right? Oh, you got it, bro. All right. So
No,
I'll
no,
throw
no.
it.
All
I'll
right.
throw it.
Who is the current GWOAT of women's boxing? Actually, my answer derives from something that you said a long time ago. We had a discussion about the face of boxing, and you said something that was really dope. You know what I mean? I was like, Canelo, Canelo, Canelo. You know, we didn't agree. Everybody, me and Kaden didn't agree. You know, because you said something that was really dope, and it changed my opinion. You said there could be more than one face of boxing, right? And now we're saying, who's the GWOAT? We're talking about the greatest woman of all time, right? Or we're talking about the greatest boxers right now. There's multiple great women boxers right now. Katie Taylor is one of them. Amanda Serrano's is one of them. What's Cecilia? She was
Cecilia
one.
Brækhus.
Yeah, she was one of them. Active fighter, and there's young great fighters coming up now. You know, people with, and then you got Clarissa Shields. There's multiple great women fighters, but the name GWOAT stays with Clarissa Shields because she dubbed that name. That was her name. But there's multiple great women boxers, and they're all doing their thing. Amanda Serrano is the real deal. You can't take nothing away from her, and she's a great woman boxer. She has accomplished so much from coming down from where she started at 116 and dominated all the way up to 140. Knocking them out. She wasn't just in there showing boxers because she was putting them on their butts. You know, giving the excitement, carrying the sport on her back for a while. Shout out to her sister as well. So there's multiple. There's multiple. When I think that she's great at what she do. Shout out to Katie. Everybody know Katie, my boo. You know, been riding with Katie. You know, that's my girl. She was great. The things that she's impressed, you can't do what Katie has done. Two-time, listen, she's great. But we're talking about a name. If we're talking about just a name, that's Clarissa Shields' name. And she proved that that was her name last night. Look at all her accomplishments and everything she did. That's her name. She's standing on her name. But there's multiple great women in the sport of boxing that's bringing eyes to the. Amanda Serrano's been doing her last fight. She got the girl up out of there. This is the excitement that these ladies needed for the sport, for people to catch it. You remember, I started watching the sport of boxing where it was Christy Martin was dominating. She was the eyes. She used to be on the undercards of the Mike Tyson fights and stuff like that. That's how I remember women. That's how women's boxing started with me. Watching her fight, I was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? And if y'all remember back in those days, she was doing her thing, you know? But yeah, there's multiple great women in the sport of boxing. You got one of the greats. You got Layla Ali. You got Ann Wolfe. You know what I'm saying? Those are the, the past great women fighters. And there's more. I'm missing a few, you know? Yes, and then you got the youngest coming up. You got Super Bad. You got everybody. You got the young. You got Sky. You got these people that's This coming to boxing, women boxing is gonna be in good hands. Shout out to my girl Micaiah Mayer. You know, so yeah, there's multiple great women boxers, but the name remains with Clarissa Shields. That was her name. She was the GWOAT, you know. But there's other great women boxers.
Yeah. So when it comes to the face of boxing, I do believe there can be multiple faces of boxing because, for example, Manny Pacquiao from the Philippines, Floyd Mayweather from the United States of America. If you asked people who they tune into boxing to watch, you would have had a split. Especially in the Philippines, it would have been Manny Pacquiao, hands down. But in the United States of America, you know, majority of people would have said Floyd, but there was still a lot of people in America who would say Manny Pacquiao. And across the globe, it's who motivates you. So you got Katie Taylor, who changed boxing in Ireland forever, right? I mean, it was unheard of when Katie Taylor started to box. So you have her changing that. Then you got Clarissa Shields from Detroit, and think of who she's motivated and the people she's motivated in the United States of America. And you have Amanda Serrano, who is from the United States of America, but is also Puerto Rican. And you got to think about the island of Puerto Rico and how many people she's motivated. Of course, they'll be number one to their perspective countries and those who they inspired. But when you talk about who's the current GWOAT, who's the current greatest woman, you know, in boxing today, to me, that's a bit different. Like if you ask me who I think is the current best in men's boxing right now, I would have to say it's Canelo or Usyk. You could throw Bud Crawford in there too, but it's because of their accomplishments and their achievements. Again, it's splitting hairs, right? Because some people would say Usyk, some people would say Canelo, some people would say Bud, right? So you're splitting hairs and you're going to what you like the most. But again, to me, there's really only three people you can have in a discussion, right? At this moment. But when you talk about who's women's boxing, to me, it's a little different because there's no one even close to what Clarissa Shields has done. And Clarissa Shields has done it at the amateur level. And if you want to say the amateur level doesn't count, then why were y'all holding her loss to Savannah Marshall, the only loss she ever had at the amateur level against her, right? So she's won multiple national amateur championships. She won the Olympics twice. She turned pro, and again, as we pointed out, she's been champion in 5 different weight divisions, 2-time undisputed champion. Actually, did another woman match her in that feat? I don't think so. No, right? She's the only one. So, I mean, and even if someone else matched her, she was the first to accomplish it. So, I think she's definitely the most accomplished. She to me, she's earned the right to call herself the GWOAT. Now, when you talk about splitting hairs, I think Katie Taylor can make the argument she's the GWOAT, and I feel like Amanda Serrano can make the argument that she's the GWOAT if she wanted to. But in the end, I don't think that neither fighter is as accomplished as Clarissa. Now, Clarissa gets a lot of pushback. She gets a lot of hate, and I think that's because of her personality and who she is. Clarissa Shields comes from a rough area. She comes from an area where, let's say, social skills are a bit different than what would be accepted to the masses. And so I watch her growth. Like Trill said, you've seen her glow up. I watch her grow. I watch how she used to be, what she used to say. I watch her change. I watch her grow. You know, people will criticize certain things about her. She tries to get better. She does listen. She's hesitant to receive the criticism. She gets defensive when she receives the criticism. She'll block you like she blocked us, but we were trying to tell her things to help her, right? But in the end, eventually she does receive the information and she does do her best to change to receive what people are saying in her own way and go about things. Because I've seen people try to trigger her. I've seen people try to trigger her, take unnecessary shots at her, and try to get her to snap so they can be like, look at this ghetto bird. But she doesn't take the bait because she knows she became aware that this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to make me appear a certain way. They're trying to get me to react a certain way. So I seen her not take the bait, and I seen her learn, and I seen her try. Is she as polished as, say, some of the other women boxers who are in the sport doing it? No. But to be fair to Clarissa Shields, none of them have been under the scrutiny as her. None of them have been heavily scrutinized or received the hatred that she's received since being a young kid in the Olympics. So again, I think she's heavily scrutinized. She's held to an impossible standard. And here's what I mean by an impossible standard. She's almost held to the Canelo standard. Amanda Serrano, who I like, right? Who I think is a good fighter. She fought and she got a second round stoppage. The stoppage to me was like, it looked like the woman could continue fighting. The woman didn't get dropped and was hurt like what Clarissa Shields did. And the woman wasn't a champion. Amanda Serrano got praised for that. The internet started calling her the GWOAT after that performance. Although she lost to Katie Taylor, although I think she beat Katie Taylor, but still the record says she lost to Katie Taylor. Although she lost to Katie Taylor, she just knocked out in the second round. She didn't really knock her out. The ref stopped it. Questionable stoppage. And the internet screams she's the GWOAT. Last night, Clarissa Shields knocks out the heavyweight champion in women's boxing, moved up in weight to do it. No tune-ups, straight to the champion, knocks her out, like drops her twice, and then the referee jumps in and people are like, oh, she took a cherry. Oh, it was easy. Oh, it was a bad stop. It's like, are you serious? The degree of difficulty. Amanda Serrano just beat a tune-up in the second round with a questionable stoppage. Shields just put hands on this girl, and you're still questioning her. You're still doubting her. It's not about anything other than you just don't like her. And you don't like her, so you're going to look for any reason to discredit what she does. Clarissa Shields has to stop taking that bait. She has to stop taking that bait, because this is something that I realized. If you're looking for the acceptance of the people, you're never going to get it. You're never going to. And Floyd knew that. So Floyd knew that the best thing he can do was keep winning. Yep. And keep rubbing it in their face. He knew they were going to tune in. Don't look for them to call you the GWOAT. Whoever they say is the GWOAT, let them build that woman up. Let them get behind her. Then you fight her and beat her. Right? Shields can't fight Amanda Serrano. She can't fight Katie Taylor. So they're going to continue to big up those women who she can't fight, because there's no way she can fight them unless she depletes herself. Right? Just keep winning. Just keep winning. I've been in the rooms. Where they big up someone who does less, or who's doing mediocre compared to what you're doing, and they get bigged up. So what? If you're doing it for the approval of certain people, you're never going to get it. So just keep winning. In the end, to me, she's the most accomplished. She's done the most. Even with what she did, Amanda Serrano's fighting on the undercard of Jake Paul's fight. So a lot of the praise and attention she's receiving, Shields is trying to build her own. She's trying to headline. She got dudes fighting on the undercard of her fight. Like Tony Harrison said, it's turned into an event. Recognize a real Don when you see one, right? Again, there's levels to this. Shields is trying to change the game. Amanda Serrano's going along with the game. So when you go along with the game, people tend to like you more.
Yeah, protect Clarissa at all costs. Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. I'm the Commissioner Trill Dollar Bill. Over here, it's my brother Caden. It's LLG for life. And you already know who we are. We the Boxing Bros.